The blame for many of these, overzealous expenditures, let's say, or waste, as they put it, was put on the bureaucracy. The responsibility for it was clearly within the Congress, and that never was clear from Grace or other people associated with it. The NPR report, however, promises substantial savings from what the bureaucracy can do for itself or what the executive branch can control, though there are points where it makes recommendations to the Congress. I think a report with a great deal of promise and possibly more potential impact on employees, on people who receive government services, and on savings is that of the Winter Commission, which is more formally known as the National Commission on State and Local Public Service. Released in June, it's begun to stimulate a great deal of discussion within the public sector, and there will be a continuing series of conferences at which this will be discussed whole or in part. I think it's a worthy follow-on to the Volcker Commission report, which dealt with the Federal Service a few years ago. The Winter Commission report demands attention. It has a fundamental agenda for changing the processes by which most of our jurisdictions function. Let's remember, the Gore report deals with one government in this country, one unit of government, the federal government. The Winter Commission report deals with the other 88,000 units of government or taxing authorities in this country. So it's got a substantially greater ripple effect out there. Once these units of government pay attention to the report, and once the recommendations are put in place, it can do more, much more, dramatically more than can the Gore report in terms of people's contact with government services and what they actually receive and the way in which they receive it. Although it's not an agency-by-agency blueprint, as is the NPR, it's a more fundamental approach, and I think it will have a more profound impact. We're particularly fortunate to begin this conference with the report of the Commission and to have as our keynote speaker one of its chief architects. Richard Nathan is director of the Nelson Rockefeller Institute of Government and provost of the Rockefeller College of Public Policy and Affairs of the State University of New York in Albany. Previously, he was a professor of public and international affairs at Princeton University and a senior fellow at the Brookings Institution. Dr. Nathan served in government as associate director for the National Commission on Civil Disorders, known as the Kerner Commission, director of domestic policy research of the national campaigns of Nelson Rockefeller, assistant director for the U.S. Office of Management and Budget, and deputy undersecretary for welfare reform of the U.S. Department of Health, Education, and Welfare. His books include Turning Promises into Performance and The Administrative Presidency. I think we're honored to have him with us today. We look forward to his report on the Winter Report, and that will be followed by a panel discussion of the Winter Report, and then the other panels later. So, Dr. Nathan.
It's a pleasure to be here at the 6th Annual Improvement Conference of the National Center for Public Productivity. That's certainly a very exciting time for people in government and, like all of us,